Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Behind the Cape. I'm data superhero Keith Belanger. Today, I'm joined by other fellow data superheroes, and I'll let them introduce themselves in a minute. But today's topic is getting ready for a Snowflake Summit. Before we get into that, why don't you guys introduce yourself? Maya, if you want to start, go right ahead.
Sure. Hi, I'm Maja Ferle. I'm a consultant with Insight. We're a Snowflake services company. And as such, I get to work on many interesting Snowflake implementation migration projects across the world. I'm a data superhero, as already mentioned, for my fourth year. And I'm also excited to be going to Snowflake Summit for the fourth year in a row.
Great. Happy to have you here. I'm sure you can have some helpful information for us. Augusto?
Hey everyone, I'm Augusto. I'm head of architecture at Archetype Consulting. I'm also a data superhero in my second year. I'm passionate about Snowflake security and data engineering. I'm excited to be here and share a little bit about my experience at the summit. I'll likely find me at the Archetype Consulting booth or at the data superhero area. I usually try to balance a little hands-on labs and checking things out between strategy and deep tech. But you know what? Reach to me if you see me anywhere and stop me and talk to me would be my advice.
Yeah, it's great. I think, I know for me, this is my going to be my fourth summit as well, and I've been a superhero for 3 years. So between the three of us, we've got a lot of experience there. So for those of you who have never been to Summit, this is your first. So Summit this year is in San Francisco, June 2nd to the 5th, and there's 4 days, 15 tracks, 500 sessions, 190 partners. That could be a bit overwhelming for a lot of people to, how do I get the most of that? So I want to start with that, kind of start with you, Maya. You know, what would be your tip for somebody new, or even if you've gone before, the first things to do to try to get the most out of this year, the event?
Yeah. Like I said, it's my fourth year, but it's still overwhelming to me. I've just looked earlier that the schedule is already released and there is so many sessions to choose from. How do you even begin? How do you manage all of this? So for sure, you need the app on your phone because you will need your schedule handy just to know where you need to be. So I would say install the app. That would be the first step. And then, of course, go through the sessions and mark anything that you like. One thing that I noticed just earlier when I was looking at the schedule, some of the sessions are already sold out, and it hasn't even started yet. But don't worry because most of the sessions, especially the popular ones, will for sure be recorded and you will be able to listen to them later. There's also many sessions on the same topic. So, if you miss one today, maybe there will be a similar session tomorrow, so you can still get there. But also keep in mind that many times people sign up for sessions and then don't show up for various reasons. You're running in the hallway, you meet someone and you need to, just chat or forget about the session. So it's possible that even if a session is already sold out, it will not actually be sold out. So you can still go to the room and check, and maybe they will still let you in.
Maybe.
So I would say definitely check.
Yeah. Augusto, anything you would want to add to that, or any other tips that you might have in that area?
I concur with all, and I would say start planning your sessions now. But
Yeah.
one tip I would say is don't overbook. It is a large venue, like it takes sometimes 20 minutes to go from one place to the other. So try to give yourself breaks because you can always watch in the recording.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
yeah,
to your point, I learned that the hard way the first time I went, right? Is
yeah, yeah.
I had everyone booked out and I was like, ah.
Sounds like I'm also on my fourth year, so it's been interesting. I personally like to take notes, so come out with one or two useful tips so I don't forget. And like I'm also known to escape talks that I think are disappointing. So don't be shy. If a talk is not really what you thought it was, you can always like, leave a little earlier.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, Maya, I know I don't think I've ever really ran into an issue where I wasn't able to get into a session um, that I wasn't or that I was interested in because, like you said, some people sign up, don't make it across from their last session, right? Because sometimes we're on multiple floors, or this happens to me all the time. You run into somebody in the hallway, right? You start a conversation. By the time that conversation ends, it's 15 minutes into the session you are going to. You're not
Mm.
going to go in. So
It,
it's great that they record them. Yeah.
it actually happened to me. I think 2 years ago, I was in line, and the three people above me, no one could get in. The room was full. I was like, oh my god, I really
Yeah.
wanted to go into a data mess session that year.
Yeah. I identify my, I guess you could say you're like this one I must go to. Like, so I'll make sure I'm there. The other ones, I'll give myself some breathing room because, you know, you don't know what's gonna happen or not gonna happen. So yeah,
Honestly, I love like one of the reasons why I like Dev Day is that because for me, like my company is usually a sponsoring, so it's a lot of work. They're 15-hour days to be there,
yeah,
and Dev Day is the only day is mine. So like I should get to attend all the sessions I
yeah,
want.
exactly.
And the
Yeah,
crowd is so different. I know I'm talking about a different topic, but the crowd on Dev Day is super different as
yeah,
well. It's very nice, like refreshing at
yeah.
times.
And we'll dive into Dev Day here in a little bit more in a bit for sure. But now, as we said, there's lots of sessions, but there's also a lot going on beyond the sessions at Summit. And Augusto, I'll start with you on this one. What are some things or some tips or things, let's say beyond the actual sessions that people should take a look out for and things they might want to participate in?
Yeah, like I tend to use those. I tend to use for certifications, for example. Usually, certifications I think are half price during the event, so I tend to just book it and walk in. But there's tons of also socials like parties. A lot of vendors doing parties, Snowflake parties almost every day. I think they're bars. They're like it's a very social thing. People are stopping you. You're meeting people. So I think that's the amazing things. You really do build quite a network coming out of there. Like I certainly noticed because last year was my first year as a data superhero, and I came up very connected with my peers. Like afterwards, like people even in my town like that I didn't know them. So it's super amazing. Take chance of that, try not just to hang with your people in like and the when you're eating at the meals, like pick a diverse and start chatting with your like someone beside you, and suddenly you have a new friend. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add, Maya?
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. I know there's so many parties, you even don't know which one to choose from. And some of my colleagues think that it's only about the parties when we talk about it. But there's so much more. There's the community booth where most of us superheroes will be hanging around. So feel free to drop by, chat about anything. There's a rumor going on that there will be a bar at the community booth. So I'm really wondering what that will be all about. So
Yeah.
please
I
come by.
I find that whole area, I don't, every year they change the name of it, so I'm not going to know the name, but you'll know it. There's an area that has so much going on, interactive games, spaces for you to sit, have a coffee, interact with people. Um, I have found that I've like sometimes I've spent the whole day in that area and didn't even get to some of the sessions because I was a meeting people or seeing people I'd seen in the previous years that you haven't seen in person in a while, meeting new people, talking about ideas, talking about something that just happened in the last session, like, oh my God, I can't wait to try that. So I find that area to be one, lots of fun, very informative. And to your point, Gusto, is the amount of people I've met having just lunch, is always interesting. And yeah, sometimes the areas outside of the sessions can almost be more informative or just as fun. And um, sometimes it's like, oh, should I go to that session or should I continue this conversation?
Yeah,
um,
there's also one thing that there's a 9-hour time difference, so there's a jet lag.
yep.
And this means that in the evening, I get tired early. So I like
So
to go to bed early. But it also means I wake up early and I like to just come in for breakfast
yeah,
because in the mornings it's quiet and most of us from Europe are there because we can't sleep.
yes,
It's also an opportunity, to catch people, to chat, because it's usually quite quiet in the mornings. So I've had some really interesting conversations just, with random people about, what they do at work, how they use Snowflake and so on. So
yeah.
I think, even if you can't stay up late at night, the mornings are also fine.
Amazing.
Yeah. Um, so Gusto, you brought up, you know, the training and certifications, and for those who aren't aware, um, they do have all that training and certifications. I don't know if you want to
Yeah.
expand upon that a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it's June 2nd, the first day. If you go a little bit earlier, they're running into like beginners to advanced training sessions that you can get into, but also you can get certifications going on, and there's quite a few now to choose. And also, there's usually an area for the where the certification people and training are. Like if you have any certifications, you get to go in for free as well. It's special just for us. And ask them about the Snowflake SME, where you get to help write the actual exam. So they're always looking for people. I've been a SME for maybe 2 or 3 years now, and it's always fun to either review the questions some people and comment on them if they make sense or not, or like I should be writing. It's super cool, but like a lot of opportunities for training.
The dog, the dog,
My dog.
the dog's got tips too. You know, don't forget about me. Um, Maya, have you done any of the hands-on labs or certifications at Summit in the past?
No, I haven't, but I'm also an SME, so I do participate with writing the questions for some of the exams. But I hear it's a great opportunity to do your exam at Summit because the cost of the exam is discounted. So if you plan to do a certification, it's a good opportunity.
Yeah, and the discounts are good, and so yeah, you can almost get like 2 for 1 type of thing. So if people are out there planning on doing the exam, it's a great place to do it, and the vibe is in the air. So not as stale as some of the places probably that many of us have been to for our exams in the past. I do also want to mention that I do know they fill up quickly, but people to look out for the hands-on labs. I don't think there's a fee for the hands-on labs, um, but that is a great way to get kind of a tutorial experience with Snowflake experts on some of these capabilities and get your hands on them. And that's another aspect that is you'll see it within the app to sign up for a hands-on lab. Um, Now, the last thing I want to talk a little bit about, or not necessarily the last thing, but the next thing I want to talk about is, I did it for the first time last year. And Gusto, you were kind of talking about it. Maya, I'll start with you. This Dev Day, right? So on June 5th, Thursday's Dev Day. Do you want to talk a little bit about what's that all about?
Yeah, last year Dev Day was packed with visitors, mostly because it is free to attend, so anyone can just show up. And there were so many activities going on. We had a Frosty Friday booth. So if you're not familiar, Frosty Friday is a Snowflake challenge that runs weekly online. But they had a booth at Summit, so I was there, and visitors could come and solve the puzzles. And there was lots of excitement, and there were prizes at the end. And I was really amazed at how many of the visitors are already familiar with Snowflake and who had really smart questions and who were excited to talk about it. I also noticed many of the visitors were college age students. And of course, everyone was interested in careers. So I was able to just chat, answer questions, and it was really, really buzzing with excitement.
Okay, anything you want to add, Augusto, about your perspective on Dev Day?
Honestly, Maya, you hit on two amazing points why I love that Dev Day. But I think it's just the crowd is different. They're younger. They're asking you questions. They're more active at engaging, and so they're like, "What is a superhero?" Like I was also helping with the labs, and so it was like really amazing. And I think I saw some AI talks. Was Ian like there was really like experts, still like really good speakers in that day talking, so it was quite amazing to listen. I think I catch up more sessions that almost every other day, because I was kind of free. There was no booths. It's almost like a new mini conference. So it's a very different experience.
Yeah,
It's really good.
and you brought up a good point. Beyond Dev Day, that whole area, like there are other sessions that are going on, but in that area, I don't remember what necessarily what they call it, but they have lots of theaters where they have different people. They're like 15, 20-minute sessions. Sometimes they're panels, and that is open to anybody. You're standing there walking by, somebody's talking, and those are really good as well.
Yeah.
And so that's a great opportunity. I what I liked really about the Dev Day last year too was kind of like almost like a scavenger hunt, right? Is that you had they kind of wanted you to go around, so they kind of like if you get your check marks from the different stations, and you can get like something. And I made myself, I don't know if you guys had made myself my little superhero Lego person on that on that day. So it's fun. It has like a carnival atmosphere to it, so it's a lot very very playful. And which is great when something like a technology can be kind of dry. They make it fun. um, and speaking of parties, the day of Dead Day, that night they have that they call the code block, which is the code block party. So kind of wind down at the end of the day. You always got to have some kind of a party within there as well. So now we've kind of hit a lot of the core things that are going to happening during summit. But I'm curious from both of you. You're packing, you're getting ready to go to summit. You know, Maya, what's that one thing that you must pack and bring with you when you're going off the summit?
Yeah, I find that, there's always so much stuff to carry. So a really good backpack where I can put all of my swag and, anything that I pick up along the way, or, just my jacket, taking it on and off, depending on whether I'm outside or inside. So I would say definitely something that you can carry stuff in.
Nice. How about you, Agosto? What would you give some tips?
Advil. It's just very long days, and just sometimes though. But a big pack, like there's so much swag that is given, and bring your reusable bottle of water, because a long days, and don't forget your shoes, your tennis, like comfortable shoes. It's a lot of walking because it's such a huge venue, and it is and take breaks like. There's a lot of opportunities to sit and have a coffee or a pop or something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna somewhat agree. The first time I went to summit, I was kind of more like business casual. I think last year I was all about comfort. right? I was
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
gonna be comfortable. The weather in San Francisco can be a bit chilly. Um, but sometimes some of the rooms, like you said, the temperature can fluctuate. Comfortable shoes, comfortable clothes. Nobody's gonna, you know, uh, critique you on what you're wearing. So yeah, I agree with the points that you guys have made, and you know, like my last tip is have fun. That from my perspective is it's fun, have fun, meet new people. If you're in an area where you don't know anybody, break that comfort zone and walk on over somebody and just say hi, right? And I've never had somebody be rude to me when I just went and said hi.
Yeah.
You know,
And do some stargazing, because the amazing part is there's so many people, like even the co-founders will find them sometimes walking, this Snowflake CEO. So just take photos, ask for selfies, even the superheroes, you can usually identify us by the big metal badges we'll have. Yeah,
yeah,
do some
ab-
stargazing.
absolutely. Well, any final last remarks by either one of you before we close it out?
I think it's just come with your learning. I would pick one topic that you're super interested, but maybe a topic that you're like just curious. Like here's my like this year, my curious topic is AI, and now people are using AI for their day-to-day work. So I'm super curious on like how it improving efficiencies. And I'm also excited about all the announcements. Usually, so many announcements that, I'm dying to be able to tell people as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I also saw there will be some famous people for keynote speakers, so I'm also looking forward to that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the keynote sessions. That's one I'll add. The keynote sessions, um, they're always fun. They're great, entertaining. I don't know if they'll have tasty bites this year or not. That's always fun. For those
We'll
who don't
see.
know, it's kind of like was it like almost like a play or a skit where they're actually using Snowflake capabilities in a kind of a use case scenario. And you get to see some of the people that are the behind the scene people of Snowflake. They put them up on stage, so non actors acting. It's kind of funny, so it makes it fun. But well, you know, I want to thank both of you, my fellow superheroes, for sharing your insights. For those of you, again, remember, plan ahead, stay flexible, immerse yourself in all of the Snowflake Summit has to offer. And with that, we'll see you in San Francisco. And thank you for joining us. Bye, everybody.